I'm at Zoho Day 2024 with Romp, who is the Director of AI Research at Zoho. Romp, thank you for joining me.
Thank you, Leland. It's a pleasure to be here.
So we're going to be going over AI and its influence within Zoho and its products and how it can really help users who are using Zoho and what kind of maybe integration with OpenAI. So first off, what opportunities does Zoho see in integrating AI into their product suite?
Well, we started working on AI sometime about 12 years back. The first project, I started off as an intern. The first experiment that I wanted to do was, will AI fit the enterprise scheme of things? Will AI fit the business software scheme of things? Because back then AI was very consumerish. We had movie recommendations, we had social media recommendations, we had search engines that were powered by AI, e-commerce that were powered by AI. But a CRM, how does AI help a CRM? How does AI help a HR management system? So the first job was to explore. And then we could see the trend evolving. We could see that AI is going to make inroads into enterprises and business software very soon. The good thing about enterprise technology is it always has a late mover advantage. All innovations first happen in the consumer space. All failures happen. If you think about it, even with mobile apps, we had a lot of consumer mobile apps, but enterprise mobile apps were in only 5 years later. Today, a lot of enterprise work gets done on the mobile. Same way, AI is making inroads into the enterprise. That was the prediction, or that was the findings that we had sometime in 2012, 2013. So we started off with a lot of experiments. First experiments where we had the data and we could use it to train the model. That itself was a bit challenging. So the first set was try and replace existing features in the product that uses some other technique but not AI. So I'll give you an example. Any product has an anomaly detection, forecasting, and so on. Now, all of these are based on traditional statistical techniques. And these techniques are prone to errors. Say, for example, anomaly. You always plot things into a bell curve and say the top 20 and the bottom 20 is going to be anomaly. But with AI, you can look at the past data, you can find out patterns, you can find out seasonal variations, you can find out if there is a trend in your data and not flag that as an anomaly. So we started replacing existing features with AI, and that was a big hit. So this is how we tested the waters. And a lot of people didn't know. We really didn't market saying it's AI-powered anomaly detection. It was the same anomaly dashboard that they are used to see. And we had a lot of compliments that said, hey, your anomaly detection has gotten better. I'm able to see signals that I would otherwise not see. So this is where we started. We slowly expanded into natural language processing and computer vision. So computer vision in the context of document processing, in the context of, a lot of times these documents are digitally generated, but when they flow from one system to another system in an enterprise, they are almost always an image or a PDF. So you're not able to extract the text information out of it. So we deployed a lot of computer vision techniques to do that. And then natural language processing, of course, we introduced grammar, we introduced translation. Here, the notion came from privacy, because we saw that a lot of our customers were using browser extensions and translation tools that were built for the consumer. You never know what the privacy policy is. So they were copy pasting sensitive enterprise information into tools that were built for the consumer. So that's when we decided to bring in all of these tools right within the editor of the enterprise software. And that way the privacy, the context, everything remains within the enterprise software. So this is how we started. So statistical machine learning, computer vision, natural language processing, we put all these pieces together. And today, almost all of our products have at least one AI feature. And I would say, if you ask me in one line, what is the broader goal of Zoho's AI capabilities? It is to present the next best action at any given point in time. So wherever you are, okay, a lead has come in, what is the next best action? A lead is about to churn, what is the next best action? Depending on the context, we are able to give recommendations, and that, I think, will be the goal for AI, is the goal for AI at Zoho for the years to come.
Awesome. So it sounds like you haven't really just OpenAI, they've came out with something, we're going to jump on the bandwagon. You guys have been doing this for years, right?
Yeah.
Awesome. That is really great to hear. It's nice to see that that it's not just been kind of like haphazardly put in. It's like, okay, we're going to integrate OpenAI into it. Here, put in your product key. I see some of that, to be able to expand, but in the background, you guys have been able to do AI to enhance Zoho for quite a while now.
Yeah, one big revelation that came out when things like ChatGPT, when things like DALI blew up was with massively bigger models, you're able to see an emergent behavior that you would not usually see in an ML behavior. So, and we wanted our customers to, Zoho is eventually becoming a platform, and we don't want any restrictions on the third party tools that we integrate with. We want to keep the data flowing. So that's when we announced the OpenAI integration. We are also building our own foundational models, and we spoke about narrow models, small, medium, and large language models yesterday. So these are things that we have been continuously investing on. As a company, we believe in building the deep technical know-how. Everything is long shot for us. Playing the long game is our strategy.
That's great. So you mentioned different models. What is the difference between like ChatGPT and then some of the other AI that's kind of integrated in the background?
Perfectly. And I think this is a great question. So there are a lot of general purpose consumer models, right? Consumer grade models. I mean, you can plan a vacation, you can bake a birthday cake, you can summarize something that you read. These are all very generic capabilities, and the model is so huge. So when the model is so huge, there is a cost associated to it, right? And even though I'm a software vendor, I will eventually have to pass the cost to my customer. So, and not everybody has the luxury of data that you need to train a larger language model. We have organizations, businesses that work with about 300 to 500 rows of data, and their quality of predictions need to be much higher. I mean, we cannot afford to make a mistake there. So what we did was, okay, we have narrow models that we have been using over the years, the anomaly models, the forecasting models. These models do one job at a time. They do it really well. They are purpose built. And then we are able to see this emergent behavior in the larger models. Now, how do we integrate that into our workflow? So one thing that we did was we found out that the emergent behavior starts in between 3 and 5 billion parameter models, which we call the small language models. And the immediate impact that we could deliver was, we have had receipt digitization AI for years. I mean, I'm on a business trip, I scan my receipts, I expense it to my company. And the challenge we faced there was, we always had issues finding the name of the merchant. Then, because it would start with dine in, and then it would say the name of the restaurant, and we would find the name of the merchant as dine in, right? Because it's a narrow AI model which understands that the name of the merchant is in the top of the receipt, and whatever is at the top of the receipt, it brings it back. Or there are some cases where you could have logos of companies. I mean, I have a Shell logo. As a human, you look at it and you realize it does not have to be spelled out for you. You know it's Shell, you know it's Starbucks. But these models don't have the capabilities to understand images. So that is where we put in a small language model just to find out the name of the merchant. The prompt is always, give me the top 30-40% of the receipt, and then ask what is the name of the merchant in this receipt. And the accuracy levels went up. So these are the small language models. And then the medium language models. Okay, now I'm on a business trip. I have submitted all my receipts, and then there is an administrator to whom 100 others have submitted 100 other receipts, right? And his job is to find out any anomalies. And how do you do it? How do you make that process better? So instead of looking all the 1,000 receipts that has come into his system, why could AI recommend just the top anomalous things? I mean, I suspect this. And if you see, there is deep context here. There is a context on what is the behavior of people traveling to McAllen, what is the behavior of this individual, what is the behavior of this individual in this particular role. Let's say I have a friend who takes care of all the hotel bookings for us, who takes care of event bookings, and clearly that's anomaly. I mean, I don't go put my credit card on a event space, right? And that's like way too many dollars for my level of spending, but for him it's normal. So this context helps us isolate the receipts that could be abnormal. So this is where we are heading. And the beauty is the smaller language models, we are able to do the inference on CPUs. So that means lower costs, lower emissions. The model is still trained on GPUs, but the inference happens on CPUs. So that makes it very lightweight. Limited data is more than enough to build these models.
Awesome. Well, that's a very good distinguishing between the different models. I guess what would, in the context of all of those models, like ChatGPT be?
So ChatGPT is the know-it-all, right? It knows 300 other things, but our purpose-built, domain-specific models knows your context and knows some domain. For example, the receipt thing I was talking about, it's going to evolve into a model that is specialized on finance. Right? It understands what accounts payable is, it understands what the payment mode is, it understands what reverse charges in some cases, right? So this model is an expert only in finance, and it does not know how to bake a cake. Now, with the context condensed, we are able to give better accuracy with limited compute infrastructure and limited amounts of training data. So Zoho has access to first-party data, right? And again, there is a lot of privacy issues around ChatGPT, but here our promise is your data is your data, and it is not leaving the ecosystem. Your data is only used to train a model that will be deployed for your setup. Right? And think about it. We have an use case where there is a best time to contact a lead. And I'm an insurance company that has been using Zoho CRM for 10 years, and model is very well trained on it. Let's say you're my competitor. You sign up for Zoho CRM, and if I'm going to use my model to recommend the best time to call your customers, then that is, Zoho is basically stealing my data and selling it to you. So we will never do that. To keep all the privacy requirements, to keep the compute requirements, to keep the data requirements in check, this is our staggered approach where we contextually combine narrow models, small models, medium models, and large language models. That seems to be more effective given the first party data access that we have, given all the context we have. For example, search. Am I talking to Sridhar, the CEO? Am I talking to Sridhar from my team? And the word my team itself is very contextual, right? My team is different from your my team. So all that context baked into intelligence, that's what we are calling as contextual intelligence.
Awesome. And it's really good to know that you're picking and choosing what needs to be done to fit the need for the moment. You're not saying, okay, let's just throw ChatGPT at everything. And, first of all, subject all the information to privacy issues with ChatGPT, but also wasting potentially computer time, GPU usage, CPU usage on something that could really use less power. Well, thank you. So how is AI being used internally? I know you're integrating it a lot in the products with Zoho, and we get to benefit from that. But is Zoho internally benefiting from?
And we use a lot of Zoho runs on Zoho. We dog food a lot of things. But beyond that, beyond the use cases that you see in a marketing context, in a sales context, in a finance context, we use it a lot in our operations as well. So our security infrastructure uses a lot of AI. Our cloud availability, how do we ensure that the services are available within reasonable response times at parts across the globe? We have points of presence to monitor all of these. And then how much, are we overspending on compute? It's okay to spin off just 5 servers for this time in this part of the world. And we are doing 10. So optimization, security, making the best use of all our resources is something we have deployed a lot of AI, and we run our own cloud. We are not on any public hosted services. So that again helps us to bring costs in check, to keep costs in check. So we are using a lot of AI technologies across the stack, across the layers that customers don't usually see. For example, we have GPU powered databases. We have built powerful encryption techniques like homomorphic encryption that helps us keep private data private. And even let's say Zoho becomes rogue someday, then Zoho will still not be able to access those information, right? So the whole notion of zero trust, where you don't trust anything in the parlance of security, is something that we have deeply ingrained in all aspects of our stack, and AI ML is playing a big role in helping us do that.
Awesome. Well, that's good to hear. So finally, to finish this off, what do you see for the future? The future of AI.
Yeah, Taylor. That's a great question. I mean, I can talk one full day about it. But what I see is the quest for AI engineers has always been artificial general intelligence, right? And with the wave that we saw in 2022 with the large models doing generative stuff, the assumption was that is taking us one step closer to AGI. But I am really not sure about it, because AGI really needs that causal touch. Basically, what is causating what? Today's AI is heavily dependent on correlation. I mean, this goes up, this goes up. This goes up, this goes down. So I know the relation. It's directly correlated, it's inversely correlated. Or you just say whatever comes first causates whatever is coming later, right? I mean, but that's not always the case in real life. Symptoms don't cause diseases, right? Symptoms come first, but that's not the cause for diseases. So somewhere we will see, yes, this is a good model towards understanding. And the problem is, I love what OpenAI did here. They particularly called a robotic name to their bigger model. I mean, they could have called it Alexa, they could have called it Siri, but then they named it ChatGPT so that it sounds robotic. But the problem is, every other term in the AI industry, say for example, hallucination. The word hallucination actually implies that the model could think and then it hallucinates. That's not the case. It's just garbage in, garbage out. But everything as anthropomorphized AI, giving, and that's where these misplaced fears come from. Oh, AI is coming for us. What happens to humanity when AI goes out of bounds? Yes, there are issues like bias and whatnot, but the notion of humanity going away or the notion of AI taking jobs is misplaced. So how do we go towards this goal of AGI? I mean, every passing day we are getting closer to AGI, but are large language models the path to it? I don't think so. It is going to be a combination of multiple forms of intelligence, multiple contextual models, along with the theory that is backed with causation, so that you can find out what is causing what, and you can understand the way humans perceive things. Right, so that will be the day where we will reach AGI. It is still some time away, so we don't have to worry about AI taking over the world, AI becoming smarter than us. But I think it's a good journey. We have come so far because we have had so much of powerful computing technology, so much of cheaper data collection sensors. Of course, you've collected all the data. The next step is to find out the information. So this is good progress, and I am not going to see an AI winter again. If you see AI's history, it has gone through peaks of AI summers, over promise, under deliver, then AI winters, no funding, nothing. But now AI is a mainstream technology. It has become something like databases, something like TCP/IP. You no longer get excited about TCP/IP, right? It works. So that's how AI is today, and we are inching close to AGI. But are today's technologies enough? I'm not sure. We will need something more.